In this section, we will look at the procedures for inadvertent whistles and a few other things that don't quite fit in any of the other videos. Inadvertent whistles is one of the hardest things for officials to deal with simply because it's always caused by an official's mistake. The whistle should never end a play. Play should always end by rule. The best way to deal with them is by not having them. Officials should work with the whistle out of their mouth. Some officials find a finger whistle is the best way to avoid it. I like to work with a whistle on lanyard, but once the ball is snapped, I spit the whistle out. Either way, these options make officials have to think to get the whistle to their mouth before blowing it. So what do we do when we have one? First, own up to it. If you blow accidentally, make sure everyone can hear it. Don't cover it up. Even if it's lightly blown the first time, it can cause players to stop and cause an unfair advantage for a team. Then, make sure you know where the ball is when you blew it and give the referee all the information you can about where the ball is. Referees, tell the head coach we messed up as a crew. Coaches have the right to be frustrated with us as a crew, and we need to give them an opportunity to vent that frustration with us as long as they don't go overboard. Once they have this opportunity, then we need to give him the options he has. If we have a player in possession of the ball, the team has two options. The first is they have the ball at the spot it was blown dead and count the down. The second is to replay the down from the previous spot. Make sure you give the coach the down and location of the ball for both of these options to make sure the coach is clear on what he can do. If the ball is loose from a fumble, a backward pass, including the snap, or an illegal forward pass or kick, then we have two other options. First, we can count the play and the ball will be spotted at the point it became loose. Again, this is why it's so important to have a beanbag on these spots, or a flag for illegal forward passes and kicks. Otherwise, they can choose to replay the down from the previous spot. If the ball is loose from a legal forward pass or kick, there are no options for the team in possession. We have to replay the down from the previous spot. When we have a penalty before the inadvertent whistle, we have to see if that penalty is accepted or declined before we can give options for inadvertent whistle. If the penalty is accepted, the inadvertent whistle is ignored and the penalty is enforced from the basic spot. If the penalty is declined, then we would offer the options that we just discussed to the team in possession. Finally, if we have a penalty beyond the neutral zone by Team R during a scrimmage kick, the penalty has to be enforced from the previous spot, since we can't use PSK rules. If this gets Team K a first down, get ready to have a coach very upset. Next, we need to determine what to do with the game clock. If the coach chooses to replay the down, then we will start the clock on the ready. If Team B or R is in possession, the clock starts on the snap, just like it always does after a change of possession. If the inadvertent whistle occurs on the last play of a quarter, we will use an untimed down for the replay of the down. Finally, we use these rules if we have an unusual situation that interferes with a play. This would include things like the lights going out, or a dog or a small child running on the field, or the ball popping. Down errors are issues we can fix within a certain time frame. We have to fix them before the ball becomes live in a new series or before the end of any quarter is declared. If Team A is shorted a down, we can adjust the down marker back to the right down and continue on, unless a new series is awarded. If we give an extra down, we can also correct it and continue on. The worst case scenario with this would be accidentally giving Team A a fifth down. If we realize that we have already played 4 downs without Team A getting to the line to gain, then we'd have to give Team B the ball in a first down. Again, in this situation, be prepared to have an upset coach. Officials should be looking at the down marker to make sure it matches their down indicator. If it doesn't, we need to check with each other to make sure we know what down it is and make sure the down marker matches what we have. Our authority on a game begins 30 minutes before kickoff for a varsity game. We need to be dressed and on the field at this time. We should be at dressing sites 90 minutes before games. If you can't make it to a game by this time, you should not accept the game. Intentionally missing this time is unacceptable. This hour period before going on the field gives us time to get ready, go through a good pregame to make sure the crew is on the same page, and make sure we have time to focus on the game. Do not take this time for granted. Before the 30 minutes, any issues is on game management. However, once this time period starts, we're in charge of all issues with teams and we can enforce unsportsmanlike conduct penalties if needed. Our authority ends once the referee leaves the field. After games, we don't need to stick around. We should be hustling off the field to get back to our locker room. While we don't have any authority to do anything once we leave, if we run into problems with coaches, players, or fans after the game, it needs to be reported to the district coordinator as soon as possible to be dealt with. We also need to know who the designated rep is before the game. I recommend that they or a law enforcement officer is available to escort us back to the locker room to help prevent problems.